Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They do mean the world to me. They keep the channel supported. Excuse me. It's early here. I start a new contract this morning, so I am up early. The premiere for today went up earlier than normal just because I need to get these things done before being ready for work at 6 a.m. my time. So this is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a shared collective reading. I do speak in broad terms, so you have to figure out where it best fits in your life, if at all. It is originally created for Wednesday, the 21st of July, but it's not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a date other than Wednesday, the 21st of July, that's fine. You might be ready for the message when you're seeing it rather than when it was originally created for, so keep that in mind. Please check out the drop-down menu underneath the daily videos. In there is all the information you need to know as far as my link tree, where to find me in that link tree is linked to how to find me on Instagram, my Facebook business page, how to pay me for a private reading via PayPal, all sorts of stuff there. If you have any questions, send those questions to my Facebook business page and I'll respond from there. Beyond that, a great way to support the channel is hitting that thumbs up button, which is right below the video, and subscribing to the channel, hitting the subscribe button and hitting that notification bell so that you get notified when I go live, okay? So let's get into this and see what the cards want us to know. This morning as I was getting ready, because I got up at 4:30, I was thinking about something, and I was thinking about this deck being so bossy, right? Okay, so here's our card, and we've seen her before too. This is the Hee-Ha of Earth. So this is the Page of Pentacles, and it's associated with the tree linden. So before I get too deep into this, I was thinking about part of the reason why I paired these two decks together, one being the Fairy Medicine Oracle and then this HERBCRAFTERS, is fairies are very much tied to the natural world, even though they're sort of magical or spiritual beings, right? I don't know a lot about the Fae, but I know a little bit, or at least enough of a sort of cursory knowledge to know that they're connected to nature very much so, right? And then I was thinking about how bossy this deck has been, and I was sort of like, And yesterday, when I made the mention after we saw that card for 3 days in a row, I had the thought that possibly because we saw both cards 2 days in a row from both decks, that the HERBCRAFTERS Tarot was teaching the fairy deck to be bossy. I actually had a flash this morning that maybe it's the other way around. Maybe some of the foolery with these cards, and I'm not saying that it's foolery, but like some of this sort of messaging and all of that is coming from the playfulness of the fairy deck through that of the HERBCRAFTERS. And maybe I'm thinking about it way too much, right? But the thought flashed in my mind, aren't fairies supposed to be kind of playful, mischievous spirits? And then their connection to the natural world also would indicate that they would probably have a little bit of dominion over the HERBCRAFTERS Tarot in a way, right? In a way to sort of play with us or drive the messages home. So just a little bit of food for thought there, you know? Only from the standpoint that it just sort of flashed in my brain this morning. I was like, oh wait, maybe it's the influence of the fairies that's bringing us these messages repeatedly. So much so. I don't know. Just something to think about. All right, so let's get into this. Hee-Ha of Air represents, of Earth. Hee-Ha of Earth represents as linden. I've had this card a few times this month already. We've had this card in the beginning of the month. What I love about this card is, to me, even though it is the Page of Pentacles, which would be sort of a little bit not even a little bit, a lot grounded, there's a more openness in the pages than in the other court cards as far as with the Earth, because Earth can be a little bit, stuck in their way. That's the good thing about them, right? They're steady, they're steadfast, they're dedicated, all of that as far as that energy with the Earth energy. But with this page, right, the page has got that youthfulness to him, so he still hasn't maybe become so set in his ways. So there's still a little bit of flexibility to him. There's still a little bit of opportunity to learn. There's still a little bit of like sort of an opportunity to maybe flow within situations, right? And that's how we see these sticks being kind of bent and weaved into this wall, right? Where at some point this wall will offer protection or boundaries or, inform us of sort of parameters in our life, whatever. I'm just using the wall as a metaphor. But it took, sort of skill, work, dedication, all of the things that are represented in that element of earth, and a little bit of flexibility to sort of bring about the wall that we're building, right? And that's kind of the Page of Pentacles. There's a bit of patience. Things move at a little bit of a slower pace, but in that slower pace, it's nice because we can sort of ground and remain kind of focused and learn as we go and really take that information in and make it our own, right? Really understand it and build something that's sort of a value in a way, or something that's strong, that serves us in our own awareness, our own knowledge, our own education in whatever we're dealing with, right? So keeping that open mind and that optimism that comes along with the pages is a good thing. Keeping that like sort of exuberance or youthfulness with the pages is a good thing. But then keeping that kind of discernment, groundedness, practicality of the earth element or the pentacles element is also kind of serves us today in this reading, right? Now, underneath this, we have the Seven of Pentacles, right? Which is that sort of harvesting card, right? Where through patience and attention, we can see maybe a little bit of the bigger picture and what's potentially out there or available to us, and what through hard work, or not hard work, I don't want to put that on you guys, but through dedication, focus, taking the steps as needed, we can produce the results that we want. We just have to be patient and kind of do what's right in front of us. And I feel like that's also being this card is very much in line with that idea, right? There's a little bit more flexibility, there's a little bit more control, there's a little bit more freedom with the page, but it's still telling us, right, to remain open-minded, but to do the work, right? To take the steps, to be methodical, be patient, and be in the present moment as much as possible, right? Because through that focus, that attention, we will ideally work our way towards whatever the goal is, right? So there's a certain amount of faith that comes with this, but I also think that some of this, because it's a Pentacles card, the page, although you're learning, you might be in the process of learning this, new part of who you are, or this new skill set, or this new focus or perception, or whatever it is that you're working on. There's this opportunity to kind of cultivate or look at your thoughts around a situation, your behaviors around a situation, whatever it may be that you're working with, and kind of bend them, move them, change them in a way before they get sort of set in their ways, if that makes sense. And in doing so, you get to move yourself further along to your goals, right? Or opening your mind a little bit more, right? So that you can see something maybe slightly differently, or more in a way that it suits you or benefits you in the long run. Ideally, with the Pentacles, it being a Pentacles card or an Earth card, to me that says that it's whatever it is that we're working on, it eventually will become solid, it will become real, it will become beneficial. We just have to continue to work at it, be patient, be flexible, and keep moving forward, and it will come. So here is the Fairy Medicine Oracle, and it is weaving. Look at what we're doing with that fence, guys. So weaving is card number 43, which comes to a 7. 7s are about making a conscious choice. We have, what are you creating? Be honest with yourself. Work your magic consciously. So what are we creating with this Page of Pentacles energy? Because it being Pentacles, it is going to manifest in the material world at some point. Whatever we're focusing on, let's just kind of bend our mind a little bit and take these linden sticks as if they're our thoughts or our ideas, and we're weaving them together into this wall that will ultimately become real at some point for us, right? It may not be the exact wall that we have pictured in our mind, but that's sort of what I kind of feel like the message is here. Remember, underneath this, not only do we have the Seven of Pentacles, but we're going into that Knight of Swords, which would be about the thoughts or the mind by the week's end in the underpinning energy. So this also ties into this sort of conscious thought weaving card that we have here. It's telling us, to pay attention to where our focus is, what our thoughts are, how we're applying them into our world. How are we using them? Are we allowing them to educate us? Are we being flexible? Are we staying grounded? All of that sort of stuff we need to sort of be not thinking about, but doing in the moment, not tripping ourselves up too much about it, and then being conscious about exactly what we're working on, being present and thinking about what is it that we're learning about as we build sort of the life that we're involved in, that we're experiencing, right? So let's go to the grounding stone. And the grounding stone is, truth. And when we see this weaving here, it says, be honest with yourself. Work your magic consciously. Being honest with yourself would be about that very truth. Is there something that stands in our way that's of our own making, that's of our own belief system that we've adopted somewhere along the way that stands in the way of us sort of creating whatever it is that we want? Is that what's making the slowness of the Page of Pentacles? Or is that slowness, working for us because it's giving us the opportunity to kind of create focus and consciously move towards things in a measured and balanced way that really strengthens the whole experience, right? Or the whole end result of whatever it is that we're working towards. I know that these are broad terms, guys, because like each one of you might be working towards something different, focusing on something different, but I'm trying to make it so that you can apply it to wherever you're at in your life. And these cards say to me that today's the day where we get to continue to work, but also be very honest with ourselves about how we're working, what we're working on in the ways that we're working, and maybe begin to shift that work in a more positive way that will, sort of, to me, this Page of Earth, also Earth being, like, the feeling I get is the Page is so youthful, right? That there's room for change or growth in the Page aspect, but the Earth aspect says to me those changes and those growth that we put into effect, or that consciousness that we, wherever we place our consciousness and our awareness on how we're doing things, and when we begin to shift that, the Earth will make it permanent, right? The Earth will make it very real, long-lasting, steady for us. So be mindful of what we're doing, right? And find the truth within that. Remember, underneath this truth, we have that grounding stone for the week, which is blessed. Look for the blessings in everything, guys. Remember that all of this is an opportunity, and that when we choose it consciously, right, there's almost like a power in that too, right? It's like we're no longer sort of a victim to our circumstances, to what goes on around us. We are, not that, victim is a rather strong word, but you know what I mean? We're not like a sort of a byproduct of our life experience. We're actually actively in there participating. Does that make sense? So I feel like that is the goal today. Get honest with yourself, consciously choose what your focus is. Remain flexible yet strong in how you go about learning how to, build the next part of this journey. Remain dedicated and hopeful, and focus on your blessings, right? The things that are good in your life. Allow that to be kind of your guide throughout this experience. That is your forecast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to me, and hit that notification bell. And feel free to contact me on any of my socials if you'd like. Always, comments and questions are always welcome too. I will answer them if need be, and I do read them all. So thank you and have a wonderful day, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.